Hello.
Hi there. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Good. Yeah, I'm sorry. My computer died, and so I got a new computer. But everything works differently, and some things that were just basic in my other computer aren't so basic. So I haven't been able. I mean, my old computer, I had Zoom plug-in for Outlook, and I can just send it.
Some
Now,
growing
even though I
pains.
downloaded it, it's not showing in the Outlook, and just and there are all kinds of things. I couldn't get my computer to print from our printer in the office, and it was just, I mean, thank God the computer's working fine, but
Huh. Some technical issues, but you're here. That's
yeah.
what matters. So,
How are you guys doing?
good. Yeah.
Anything? I mean, you're getting married, so I mean, I can ask anything new and exciting, but the tastings went well, and
Tastings were great. Yeah, I think the cake tasting was our favorite. We got to try a lot of different flavors. That was a fun one. And yeah, otherwise going through a little few small details, but pretty much all smooth sailing from here on out, we're hoping.
okay, good. So, first of all, any questions right off the bat?
I think one for the document you sent over, the letter of intent, do we
Yes.
need to sign that physically with a pen and then send it back, or can we digitally sign it?
Yes, you can print it out, or
Okay.
if you want, I'll print it out here and just bring them with me to the wedding.
Okay. Yeah,
Whatever. But
maybe.
if you want to print it out, that's fine. Print out two. You both have to sign it, and then I'll sign it, and it goes into my records and the record. Well, you keep a copy.
Okay.
You know something? I'll print them out. We'll sign them there, and then I'll take all the copies. So you don't. You guys have your own copy, but you don't
Okay.
need my copy. You don't need the rabbinical assembly's copy. So,
Perfect. Cool. Otherwise, I feel like we didn't have major questions. I just want to make sure we had like one last um confirmation of the order of everything, and then we were going to write our own vows, and we thought we would hand you the paper and you'll hand to us when we read them off, or should we hold on to them?
You can hold on to them because you'll read them.
Okay.
And I'll just
Um,
announce that Seth and Emily have written their own vows, and they'll now share them with each other.
Perfect. Does that work with you?
I'm not sure where I would hold them. I can maybe give them to my maid of honor to hold.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know something? Yeah, I'll hold them and then I'll hand them to you. Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'm not thinking. Yeah, wedding dresses generally don't have pockets.
My close friend, her wedding dress did have a pocket, and she did carry her own vows, which was
Wow.
great. But an anomaly for sure.
Okay. So one question too, the signing of the ketubah, we each have
Yeah,
a witness and they need to sign their name in Hebrew, correct?
correct.
And is it just their first like name or do they need a last name with that?
Honestly,
Maybe
the
it's a
last name,
silly
the
question.
Hebrew name is generally the name of the person plus his or her parents.
Okay.
So I'm Yechezkel ben Moshe v'Chava. Yechezkel, son of Moshe and Chava. So
Okay.
that's, or, whatever the name is. I don't have a middle name, and neither did my parents. So it's
Got it.
fairly simple. But
Okay. Because I think, I don't know, one of my friends, I think he has a Hebrew name and that's it. And that's good enough.
yeah, well, you should check with if his parents are still alive. You should check what uh, what their names are because that's part of his Hebrew name.
Okay. We can ask them that then. Cool.
And
And then, or sorry, go ahead.
and I say I can send them or send to you once I have the Hebrew names. I can print them out in or I can type them up on my computer in a handwritten form if they need to practice
Okay.
beforehand.
I think my friend should be good. What about your friend?
I think you'll be good, but I'll confirm with them.
My friend is practicing this week, so I think she should be ready.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Perfect. And
Let's.
then,
Mhm.
or yeah, go ahead.
No, no, no. You go ahead, and then because I just
I
wanted to
was going
go
to start
through
running through
everything.
kind of the run of show, but if that's where you were starting to, um,
Yeah, I wanted to just like go through the
okay,
day again. So, of course, I have the invitation in the other room. Um, you're starting at
so ceremony we're planning to start at 2:30,
2:30
and
for
we
the
were planning
ceremony. So we'll do the ketubah signing around 2.
we were actually thinking 1:30 for the ketubah signing. I think because our what time were we?
Yeah. I think 1:30 for Katuba signing. So if it goes over or we need any buffer to line up, then we just have an extra half an hour just in case.
Okay, as you wish. It's your wedding. You'll
Thank you.
get to hang
Yeah, we
around
were
for.
okay. We were thinking ketubah signing roughly like 1:30 to 2, and then
Mhm.
at that 2 o'clock mark, that's when like people are starting to get the guests start coming to their seats and all
Right.
that. And, um, okay, and then I think just yeah, so 1:30 ketubah signing, 2:30 starts the ceremony. I think like you walk out from somewhere first, and then we start the procession. That sounds
Right.
about right.
Yeah. Again, like I said, some people want me, the rabbi and or the cantor, part of the procession. I don't feel I need to be. So very often, what I've done is I just come in from the side, and that's the indication to the musicians or the DJ. Okay, now's the time for the processional music.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's what we'll prefer then.
And since you're going to reach out to the music people anyway, maybe you can let them know.
Yep, I'm just taking a
Mhm.
note. Fusion music should start. Okay, perfect. Any other pre-ceremony logistics we need to go through?
Just in terms of the ketubah signing and you're wearing a veil, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the veiling ceremony, that's part of the ketubah signing.
I
Okay.
don't, although I don't think we were planning to do that part, but I will have the veil behind me.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think.
but
Sorry, go
you're
ahead.
not going to be, you don't have a veil that's covering.
Yeah,
Okay, then we'll do it without the veil.
Well, okay, I think we just got it last time that it was still possible to do it without. So,
Yeah, no, I've done it a few times.
okay,
Um, So let me get to the signing. I want to make sure I have all the right notes.
Perfect.
Okay. Uh, Now for the ceremony, traditionally it's the groom's party, the groom being last, coming in with his parents, and then the bride's party, the bride coming in last with her parents or however. And then as you get Emily to the last row of chairs, Seth, you come down from the chuppah and escort Emily into the chuppah. And
Okay.
then you said you were going to do the 3+3 do-si-do, for
Correct.
the and I'll have a reading. Okay, so after that, offer a blessing and welcome you. Then we come to the kiddushin, the betrothal, and that will be the exchange, the bracha over the first cup of wine. Sorry, remember. Let me get my manual to make sure that I'm saying everything correctly here.
Okay. And just to confirm, we should provide that. I think at our notes were it could be white wine, red wine, or even grape juice, but we'll bring that.
Yeah,
Correct.
whatever you guys are comfortable with. Like I said, I've learned that many brides want white wine, and that's in case it spills, or white grape juice.
Okay.
It's,
Something else.
all of it fine.
I can have grape
So,
juice.
Well, we'll see what you can have.
I'm kind of having a situation where I'm having allergies to a
mm,
lot of foods right now. Would it be possible, just in case I have this issue in a week, could we do water, or is that not possible?
water isn't good. Um, I have to look into that because I've had couples use grape juice because some people don't drink alcohol or can't drink alcohol. Um, and I know if you go to a Kiddush at Chabad, in the morning they may just use whiskey, but I don't think that's
Yeah.
um,
How much would you need a
the
consumer?
and frankly, on Friday night, if you don't have wine, you do the kiddush over the challah. So you say hamotzi lechem mina aretz, and then the paragraph of kiddush. But that's if there's no wine. Hmm. Let me look into that because there's got to be some option because people
Um,
have got allergies and diabetes and and so let me look into that and let me check around. I'll check around with my colleagues because someone must have run into this.
Thank you.
How much do we need to consume of it to begin with? Do we consume a full glass or
No,
take a little sip?
it's like a mouthful.
Okay.
It's there are specific amounts that one is supposed to drink. Whether it's on Pesach, whether it's on Shabbat, or when you make a bracha, you have to have a certain amount of food, a certain amount of liquid. I don't walk around with a ruler or a measuring cup. So, I think if someone, takes a mouthful, that's good.
Okay.
If in the Talmud they talk about, for some things you need a kazayit the size of an olive. That was that was a common size. It was a common food. Or sometimes they say kibetza, the size of an egg.
Okay.
Um, but liquid, it's generally like a mouthful. Also, in the ancient times, what they actually did was mixed the wine. You had like a concentrate, and they added water. So I don't know how strong it always was, and of course, they didn't really know from allergies then.
True. Okay. Good to know.
Let me just okay, and let me just write. Um, the other possibility, since you share the cup, Seth, you can drink most of it, and Emily, you just take a sip. If you
Yeah,
feel
we can
more
do that.
comfortable with that, that's fine.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. I want to know that Emily, you're comfortable with that, because I don't want you to be getting sick on your wedding day.
I know I'm really
Uh,
nervous.
no, okay. Um, you can also speak to your doctor. I mean, if you have an allergist or if you have a primary care physician, they may have a suggestion. And when it
Yeah,
comes to medical things, they know better than I do.
we did just meet with him. He basically said no fruits or fructose or anything. It's kind of a, I don't know, I don't know how, I'm not a doctor, but it's like a serious allergic reaction to a lot of different foods right now. So we're
You
trying to
can't
sort it
see it,
out.
but I have hives literally all over my body
Yeah,
right
she's a little
now.
covered right now.
So it's a little stressful. Normally, I would say, of course, grape juice is totally fine, but it's a little stressful to
But
think about.
Yeah.
Even not the whole wedding and like the food at the wedding, so it's not just the ceremony, but yeah, I'm a little nervous about it.
Mhm.
but I'm also
Okay, well, let me check into that because if it's fructose, that's
I can consume whatever is needed on my half to
yeah.
sit out or make it work.
But even if you only have a few highs, that's not
Yeah,
good.
we want zero.
And an allergic reaction is an allergic reaction, and I don't, you don't need to pop Benadryl as soon as you drink the wine.
Thank you.
We
You
appreciate
could,
it.
but
Yeah, hopefully not. Our last resort.
okay. Um, and then the exchange of rings.
Yes. And,
And Emily, you're going to say your declaration in English.
Yes.
Mhm.
and will that be a repeat after me thing? Like you'll
Mine is I am my beloved, and my beloved is mine.
Correct. And I'll
Okay.
dictate it to you so
okay,
everybody can relax.
cool. And do I say anything at the exchange of rings, or that's
Pardon me?
do I say anything during the exchange of rings, or it's just
Oh yeah, when you present the ring to
okay,
Emily, and again, this is for the purpose of the ceremony. You place it on her right forefinger,
right?
right forefinger, and make the declaration.
Okay,
And that's basically because she's pointing to you, saying, "I'm accepting it from this one. You can't betroth the woman without her consent."
nice.
So yeah, it's not the wedding ceremony is not quite as sexist as people think it is.
That's good.
I don't want to suddenly pretend this is a feminist statement. The rabbis were the rabbis. They lived 2,000 years ago in a patriarchal society. On the other hand, they had some sensitivities. So, and you can move it right afterwards. And also, though, when you put the ring on Seth's finger, you'll also put it on his right forefinger. And
Sounds good.
again, you can move it. That's
Perfect. And so, just logistically speaking, who has those rings at the moment? Like,
uh, that's up to you. If you want me to carry them, I'll carry them. If you want to keep them in your pocket, that's fine. If you have a ring bearer, or if you have a groomsman, or a best man, very often the best man has it.
okay, maybe for both rings, right? Like, hypothetically, the best man could give me the one I'm supposed to give to Emily, and give Emily the one she's.
Exactly.
Okay,
hmm
that may work. Cool. Perfect.
If
Okay.
he's the best man, he should have some responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And then you were going to do the vows right after the exchange of rings? Is
Correct.
that
That's what we
that's
had.
what we said? Yeah. And then following your vows, I will read selections from the ketubah. I got to write everything down. I'm getting older. I want to make sure that
I have the list from last time too, just following along as well.
okay.
So far,
I want to make sure I'm consistent too,
yeah,
I mean, Emerson did say the foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of small minds, but this is important. That's not foolish consistency. After the selections from the ketubah, I'll share a few words with you, and then we go into the Sheva Brachot, the seven wedding benedictions.
right. And
And
now,
again, yeah, go ahead.
or you can go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, and if you have anyone you want to honor by reciting one of the brachot, or if you want someone to do the English translation,
I think we were gonna have our parents come up and do that, right? Sure. Both sets of
right, right,
parents.
that's what you talked about.
Yeah, and out of curiosity, like my dad knows Hebrew, but there's nothing to read from. So would it just be like a repeat after me type situation, or
Well, he would. I have the text in my rabbi's manual, so
okay,
he would have something to read. Of course, there's no transliteration. It's the rabbi's manual.
yeah,
But
maybe it's better if it's a repeat after me, or I don't know what your parents are comfortable with. In
the other thing is that the Sheva Brachot. That first of all, there are seven, and some of them are a little complicated.
okay,
They're not necessarily short. The seventh one I will do,
okay,
because I sing parts of it. That's
nice,
the longest one. The others aren't too bad. Um, the first three are short. Borei Pri Agafen, which I can't
yeah,
imagine
that's
you
a
would have any
gimme.
problems with. Um, then all Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam. They all begin like your normal bracha. Shahakol bara lichvodo is the second one. For all things created, speak of your glory. And then the second one is Yotzer Ha'adam. Sorry, the third one is Yotzer Ha'adam, who fashions each person. But then the fourth one is a little bit longer. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, asher yatzar et ha'adam b'tzalmo, b'tzelem demut tavnito, v'yitkin lo mimenu binyan ad yad, Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'adam. We praise you, God, for forming each person in your image. You have planted within us a vision of you and given us the means that we may flourish through time. I may not use this translation. Praised are you, creator of humanity. That's the alternative. Let me give you the actual translations. Um, the next one is Sostasis v'tagel ha'akara b'kibutz banel tocha b'simcha baruch atah Adonai mesameach Tzion b'vaneha. May Zion rejoice as her children return to her in joy. Praise to you, Adonai, who causes Zion to rejoice in her children. Um, then the sixth one, Sameach Samach Re'im Ahuvim, Kesamechecha Yitzircha Began Eden Mikedem, Baruch Ata Adonai Mesameach Chatan Vechala. Grant perfect peace to these loving companions, as you did for the first man and woman in the Garden of Eden. Praised are you, Adonai, who creates the joy of bride and groom. So, and if your father has a siddur at home, if he has a complete siddur, he probably can find the Sheva Brachot in there
Okay,
if he wants to practice them.
yeah.
And
Out of
if we
curiosity,
get there and he decides, nah, these are a little long, I'm just going to do the first three, or that's fine. I'll do the seventh one anyway.
okay. So out of curiosity, uh, do you typically just do these all at most weddings, or is it
Um, it varies. So I've done weddings where they've had family members of friends recite the Hebrew. And I've had people where I've chanted everything. If in the years that I had a cantor, the cantor would chant them. Um, and sometimes they hired a cantor, so at my cousin's wedding, I mean, I did the ceremony, but the cantor, she chanted, all the brachot, and whatever people are comfortable,
okay?
and
Maybe we'll chat about that then, and we'll figure it out. But we'll let you know. Well,
yeah, I want your parents to be comfortable.
Yeah, I don't think
First, we're
so
gonna,
that, because it's an
well,
exciting day. And I want them that like, okay, I can get up there and do this and not be anxious. I'm not be anxious. They're going to be anxious. Their children are getting married. It's a good anxiousness.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I think if your dad's good at reading Hebrew, he should do them
okay.
because he does the prayers normally on Shabbat.
Yeah, I think he could do the first six. Well, I don't know
Yeah.
when
I don't think he will have a problem. I think he could certainly do them, and I'll send you the translation that I'm likely to use so that your mother can look it over.
Okay,
Not
perfect.
that I'm worried about her reading the English translation.
So yeah, I
Um,
think we'll have all both sets of parents come up. My dad lead through it the first six, and then you can
oh,
close
and
us out.
they're coming up at the Sheva Bracha, right?
Yes,
They're not going to be standing up
we
there.
correct. We weren't going to have them standing the full time,
Okay.
but we did. I did. It was meaningful to me to make them part of our ceremony at some point, and so I think we discussed last time it was for this aspect they could come up.
Yep. That's great. And I think it's wonderful if they're
I'll see if my dad will do maybe one or two, and then they can split them.
Okay, why don't you ask
yeah.
first if you want to or is comfortable? If not, my
Yeah.
dad's happy
Yeah,
to.
we'll talk about it. Either way, they'll stay up there.
Okay.
Or, you can split the English, whatever.
So yeah, wait. Is
I
it
thought it was
reading the Hebrew and then reading the English after, or is it one or the other?
Generally, I do like the first three brachot and then the translations.
Okay.
And then the next three, the translations, and then the seventh.
Okay.
But it doesn't have to be done that way. We could do the Hebrew, English, Hebrew, English. I've done that too.
Okay.
yeah, maybe we'll figure something out where like your dad reads it and then like your mom translates and then my mom, then my dad, and they all get a
Okay.
chance.
And you want?
Yeah, fine. That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
That sounds
Cool.
good.
We'll ask them how they're feeling about it. But long story short, we'll probably have the first six covered, and then you'll do the seventh.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's fine. I mean, I love the idea of having them participate. I like
Yay.
having parents participate. That's cool.
Actually, I see in
And
my note now that originally I think we talked you would do the Hebrew, our parents would read the English. So we'll
mhm.
find out what's comfortable with them if they
Right,
if
whatever
we
is
do
comfortable
something.
for them. Obviously, I've done this before. So
Perfect.
I'm quite happy. And again, I've done many things where different people did the Hebrew. One of my very, very closest friends, I was the best man at his wedding. I didn't, but he's an Orthodox rabbi, so he had his teachers do all the brachot.
Nice.
So, and I've had some families that are very, very knowledgeable. Like half of them are rabbis or cantors or something. So, yeah, I'm fine. And I like the idea of involving your parents. So
Yeah.
and it works well.
Perfect.
And then, I conclude, then after the last bracha, you drink the wine or whatever it is. Um, and, but I would still, double check with your doctor. I
Okay.
really feel that that's important.
What would you like me to ask?
Well, just to ask so that, traditionally you're supposed to have a sip of wine. Um, well, actually, twice during the betrothal blessings and after the wedding benedictions. Now, you don't have to have more than a sip, but if the doctor says no, then there's just no question about it.
Yeah. I just went yesterday.
We still have a little while,
Yeah,
if
we'll
not a
see.
lot of time. We've got some time, and but I think it would still be worthwhile to speak to him or her, and I really
Okay.
because then it'll help me when I do some of the research, like what can we do, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah, it's pretty limiting at the moment, which is
I can
unfortunate
pretty much
timing.
have, yeah.
But
I'm not eating like almost anything right now. It's quite limiting. Um,
I
yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
we've had friends, my kids' friends that were allergic to everything under the sun. And my wife is a preschool teacher, as I told you. She has all kinds of, there are things that you can't bring for lunch because they're nut allergies and there are fish allergies and there are egg allergies. And, we have many friends who are lactose intolerant, and gluten intolerant, which is considerably, I
That's
mean, I
not.
have slight lactose intolerance, but I can eat cheese and yogurt, I'm fine. But we have friends that they look at it and, that would be a mess. And the gluten is really so,
Yeah.
and so, I totally get it. And now I watch very carefully, like avoiding carbs,
Hmm.
which includes fruit and carbs and fat, heart and diabetes. But you know, I'm I got type 2 diabetes. I'm
Uh,
on medication, so I can eat pretty normally. No one has to feel sorry for me. All right, I miss ice cream and I miss Dr. Pepper, but and Twizzlers, but otherwise I do fine. So,
yeah.
but and I don't get sick. That's the other thing. When people have allergies, it's a totally different.
Yeah. It's not a pleasant reaction, but
Yeah. Even and like you said, you get hives. I mean, it doesn't have to be an anaphylactic shock. I mean, it's just miserable. So, and I don't want that. And then, of course, we conclude the ceremony with the breaking of the glass.
yep.
Um,
And then, yeah, that's what we had.
Exciting.
And,
yes, it is,
and so then,
especially since it's getting closer.
yeah, so we'll walk off then. And then what happens? Where do you like? I know you mentioned you have some event later that day, but are you basically then you leave or like
Yeah, it depends. I'm sorry, I have to ask, is the reception kosher?
it is tech? No, we've ordered some
Okay.
kosher meals for part of my family, but no.
Hmm. Yeah, so I generally don't stay if it's not a kosher affair
Okay,
because there's not a lot for me to eat.
understood.
Um, it's not, I mean, because technically the Seudah, the feast, is part of the wedding. But, I'm not insulted by that.
Oh,
The one time I was insulted was when I did a wedding on a boat in the Boston Harbor,
oh wow.
which was fun, but the reception wasn't kosher. And I was on the boat, so I was stuck.
Oh
That
man.
I wasn't
No,
happy about.
so
Like even if
I'm
I hang out for the cocktail hour and speak and get to know your families a little bit, that I'm not, I have no problems with that.
okay.
Uh,
I will say because
so,
my a lot of my family, or at least my immediate family, so they're kosher to the extent that we only eat kosher meat. They cook kosher in the house. They only eat kosher out, but they're not limited to kosher only restaurants, if that makes sense. Like they'd go to
oh
an
yeah, well
Italian
that's what
place.
I will eat parve or dairy out in a
Okay.
restaurant.
So we were mindful in like we have a fish entree and then also the appetizers and stuff, cocktail hour. Most of it is non
So our wedding is maybe like 80%.
Hmm.
carb
Yeah,
dairy.
parv.
I mean, I did do a wedding. I found out only at the wedding that it wasn't kosher.
Oh man.
There was still plenty to eat. And again, I think they had fish as one of the options, so that really was not an issue. It was kind of surprising that it wasn't kosher. That I mean, I love the family, and like I wasn't in any. I'm not insulted. It takes a lot to insult me these days. I just get, especially because nobody's doing anything maliciously,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
as long as I know ahead of time, okay, I'm.
Exactly. Well, at least yeah,
But
we
I don't think you have to worry about providing anything for me because.
okay. Well, my last question on that, we were gonna bring some food in for folks that are getting there earlier because we're showing up well earlier for photos and stuff. But
Right.
would you like us to bring you any kosher food or things prior to, or
No, I'll
Well,
be fine.
have like water and snacks and stuff?
we'll have like
That's
a
fine.
there'll be like a vegetarian wrap and eggplant wrap that we can put aside for you.
Terrific. Otherwise, Because I will probably eat lunch before I go because I eat huge lunches of salads. Because even, sandwiches are generally, I get bread that's low carb,
Got it. Okay.
so, instead of you having to worry about my dietary restrictions, I think it's far more important, one, that you have something, Emily, that you can eat and not get sick
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
That's
I'm actually
that's a far more important issue. I'm not going to starve. I assure you, I'm fine.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure everything was
Mhm. But thank you very much. One question I have is, since it's 2:30 in the afternoon, I imagine it's not a formal affair in that I don't need to wear a tux. I have one if I need to. I don't, six of one, half
correct.
dozen the other for me.
Yeah, we were telling the men cocktail attire was like suit and we'll be in suit and ties, and I can't
Yeah.
promise we did instruct the guests like suit and tie. No tuxes though, not black tie or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's just because I'm at the end of the month. I've got a friend's wedding, which I'm not officiating at, just serving as a witness, and that is formal attire. So, I just
Yeah, no, we want to be mindful. I mean, ideally the weather's nice, not too hot, all that stuff, but yeah, we didn't want to go super fancy.
yeah, no, that's fine. I always imagine I'm a very formal guy. So I'm, so I'm sitting here in exercise clothes, but normally I'm a very fancy guy, and I always assumed I'd be married in a tux. Well, our wedding was at noon, so I was married in a blue suit.
Yeah, that was kind of what I thought maybe it would be a tux one day, but here we are with a suit, but it'll be great.
The time of the day dictates it's fine.
Exactly. We wanted it to be an outdoorsy type of vibe, so
Hmm.
cool.
That's always fun. Um, so okay, and you'll bring the no, we don't have to worry about the marriage license because you're gonna take care of that
Correct.
in New York.
We will bring you a copy of it for your
Okay,
records.
great. Thank
Uh,
you. That I do want a copy of that, but
yeah,
otherwise that's fine. Okay.
and
I'm
you'll bring
noting
the
that down
letters of
again,
intent.
even though I remember,
Perfect.
like I said, we can have the ketubah, we can have the witnesses and all of that. It might be all right with God, but if it's not all right by the state,
Yeah, we were running into issues with the specific county and stuff, and the logistics of where we're located. So we just figured for legality in the United States and in New York,
yeah.
we're just going to go to the courthouse.
Yeah, as I said, I've done that before.
Yeah, just easier for us, frankly. But we do appreciate you being able to.
Yeah, the important thing is that you're legally married. I'll do my part. I'll make sure you're
Exactly.
Jewishly legally married. But
Yeah. Well, that's what we want. The ceremony is all about the Jewish tradition,
yeah,
too. That's what we're excited for.
so um, well, just a couple of other things. I mean, you probably told me this, but I didn't write it down. Um, how did you guys meet?
Would you like to answer? Go for it. So we met on one of the dating apps, Hinge, in late 2018. So been a little under 8 years knowing each other.
Wow. So you've known each other for a while.
Yeah, it has. It's been a good period of time. But yeah,
That's
it was,
fun.
a dating app success.
Those things can work very, very well.
Yeah.
I
We
have,
happen to be living a few blocks away from each other, so that worked out really well. So,
were you both in New York already at that time?
We
yes.
were in the East Village.
Nice. I was always up Upper West Side, but I had all kinds of friends who were down in the East Village, or I knew people throughout my
Yeah,
life. So it was
it
kind
was
of
nice
cool.
that time. We actually, now that we're in the Upper West, that we like it here
Yeah, it's all
just
about
for the
age, I would
phase
say.
of life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for of course, I mean, the West Side is fantastic regardless, but even when I was in the seminary, there wasn't the Jewish stuff that is there now.
Oh,
Mm.
So,
really?
yeah, we go to visit our daughter, and like, yeah, she could take us to a kosher, totally kosher supermarket. It's all kosher,
I
which
think
is
I might
great for
know
her.
that. Yeah.
And there are all these restaurants. So even and just in New York, there are far more. Like when I graduated the seminary, there were like Seventh Avenue Deli, Second Avenue Deli.
Oh, yeah.
At that time, there were Schmulka Bernstein's. It's known for its Chinese food. That was down in the Lower East Side.
Huh.
There was Sardi's, which is a fancy restaurant. And, it was not that much else. Now, oh my God, after my daughter's graduation, we went to a kosher veggie restaurant,
Oh,
which
wow.
was really good.
Hmm.
It was good because her boyfriend and his family came, and his father is a vegetarian.
Okay.
So
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah,
it was
I'm
great for
surprised to
all
hear
of
that
us.
though, that there's more kosher food now than there was. I just always assumed New York always had a big, I mean, just based off the Jewish population, big kosher options, but
No, they were always more in Brooklyn. I mean, we had them in Manhattan, but now I don't even want to think of what's out in Brooklyn and even Long Island. There's
true.
so much more now. I mean, you have especially with all the different communities that have come in. So you've got Russian and Georgian restaurants, I think that
Oh
are
yeah.
kosher, certainly Persian restaurants that are kosher.
Yeah, there's
So
some
that
Persian on the Upper West Side.
and so it's really New York is fun.
Definitely.
It is.
I couldn't live there. It's fine graduate school. I'm glad to be out, but you guys are young. Enjoy. It's fantastic.
Exactly. Living and enjoying it for now. We'll see
Yeah.
where life
Yeah.
takes us, but
So I have to ask you, Seth, what are the qualities that you particularly appreciate in Emily? What,
good question.
makes her like the one?
You're putting me on the spot.
Yes, I'm going to put her on the spot in a moment too, but
Give you, I feel like I could create a long list, but I'll give you a few at the top of my head. I think one is, I know she's dealing with some health stuff right now, but she lives life to the fullest. Like she makes the most out of life. And so every moment when you're around her is just maximized in terms of enjoyment, vibrancy. And she's just got like a light and energy about her that always radiates so positive.
Okay.
Um, and so I think her family and friends, once you get to be around her, you're just like, wow, I want to be around this person all the time.
Aw.
And so that's a big one. And then I think just like we share a lot of similar values just in terms of how we approach life and appreciate life. But she was always very thoughtful and giving and caring. And so like those are qualities I look for in a partner of I remember a few years ago, I couldn't make it home for Yom Kippur. And so she had behind my back text my mom, like, what are the favorite foods for breakfast? And my mom, knowing my mom, she gave her a whole list. And it could have been simple enough to just pick one and Emily make the dish, but she made everything. So like she had this huge spread and was surprised. And so like
Forgot about that.
little things like that. But yeah, I just think the positivity you bring and the optimism, it's a nice like push and pull just because me myself, I'm probably leaning a little bit more introverted, a little more quiet. And so Emily brings out that side of me that helps me just appreciate life more.
That's so nice. Thank you.
yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah,
So
So,
nice to hear.
I got a lot more, but I think that's a good list.
well, hopefully you've got a whole lifetime to talk about it.
Aw.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of anniversary cards, birthday cards, or write them, or you
Definitely.
find one that expresses it, but you have a whole lifetime you can share. Traditionally, of course, the husband sings the last few verses of the book of Proverbs to his wife on Shabbat and holidays. It's a woman of valor, just not always the greatest translation of Eshet Chayil. And everyone always assumes that, oh, she does all of the traditional wifely duties, except when you read the poem carefully, it's really not. read the end of the book of Proverbs. She's the one who organizes the affairs of the household. She arranges with, does business and all this stuff. So it's many women have done superbly, but you surpass them all. And I love having the opportunity to sing that to my wife
Oh,
every Friday.
That's so cute.
that's really
Yeah,
sweet.
I just love it. She sometimes like, I'm hungry. Let's just, I know you love me. Let's go on.
Aw, that's sweet.
But
Nice.
that's fun. And that my girls now know it by heart because they've heard it all their lives. It's just God willing, they find someone who will sing it to them, or at
Cute.
least feel that way about them. So so I totally get you. I It's just beautiful to hear.
That's cute.
So
Um,
Emily, what are
Yeah,
the things about Seth that
I will say when I first met Seth, there were two qualities I noticed immediately that really drew me to him and are still true today. The first is that he is truly the kindest person you have ever met. He doesn't want anyone to feel left out or hurt. He, is just, he plays the middle because he cares about people. He's not involved in drama. He just really wants people to feel loved and supported. It's very, very, very sweet. And I know personally, like, he is just the kindest soul to me. I think you really want someone that treats you with like respect and softness and gentleness. And Seth is definitely that person. And he treats everyone in his life that way. It's very nice to see. And the second thing is his comedy. He sees life through a comedic lens, no matter how serious a situation. Even when we get in an argument, he's like, there's something funny about this. We can laugh. And it brings a lot of joy to our house. Like, I can be a little serious, and he always looks at the funny side of everything, which sometimes in the moment is a little frustrating. But in reality, it's so light. It's so
can speak to
nice
my
to
wife?
have,
She'll
yeah, you're just laughing all the time. It really is like the greatest gift. And his family, I know, feels the same way about him. He cracks everyone up. So he's really, that's just, it's a really good energy to be around.
thank you.
And then aside from those two things, I agree. We have very similar ways that we like to live life. We like to be active together. We like to take the same types of trips. We like to spend our weekends the same way. We like to spend our evenings the same way. We like to make dinner and have a nice conversation. Sometimes we make up a dance. Sometimes we watch a TV show or we play a game. We play backgammon. We just always want to be with each other. We just are so drawn to each other. Um, I can't believe I found that in someone. It's very sweet.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, I
So
see a
what
lot
are
of
like
just, or go ahead.
yeah. No, I was gonna say, so what are like the active things that you like to do?
I can start, you can add it.
Yeah.
So Emily actually, she got me into, I don't know if this is active necessarily, but camping, which is something I'd never done growing up. So we like to take little camping trips, whether it's upstate New York. But in terms of active, I mean, we both try to work out individually ourselves. We love to go hiking, um, water sports, like,
Yeah, we kayak together. Anytime we're going on a vacation, we're doing something active. We're kayaking, we're hiking, even if it's we're in a city, we're walking.
yeah, whitewater rafting. Like
Yeah.
we try to do adventure type activities.
And we're also really into nature, spotting nature. I bird watch, Seth will come with me, or we'll go somewhere like Costa Rica and we'll do like a night tour looking at like creepy
Oh,
crawlers. We're just very into like the outdoors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you have to come spend a Shabbos with us here because we live right on a lake, and we get, I mean, not necessarily unusual critters. I mean, we have the usual squirrels and chipmunks and deer, um, occasionally bears. That's
Oh
that's
wow.
there are a fair amount of bears around here, but like everyone's always like, "Oh, you got to be careful of the bears." Like one, I'm not worried. I'm not on their natural diet. So, they're not looking for me. And, if I see one coming, I go to the other side of the street. Yeah, I don't think they're going to bother me. I mean, obviously, if it's a mother and her cubs, it's another story. But because we're on a lake, we had a huge turtle walking in our yard once.
Huh.
We have blue herons that come by, and sometimes they are not on the lake, but they're in our backyard.
I love
And
herons.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're so. And actually, we were walking home from shul last week, and uh, the shul's across the street from the lake. The lake is, in our house is just a few doors down. And from the lake, it's a man-made, partially man-made lake, and it has a runoff into a stream. And in the runoff, coming in the rocks on the side of the lake, there are like a huge number of snakes,
Oh, whoa.
Whoa.
uh,
Huh.
water snakes. It was really cool. I'm not the biggest fan
Yeah.
of snakes,
No.
but they were down, in the runoff. They weren't bothering me, and they're water snakes. They're not going to hurt anyone. So, but it was just kind of cool because, we'd be watching them. They were all over each other because they were sunning themselves, and then,
Oh, wow.
seeing them would slither away and like, oh, there's the head popping up out of the water. So,
Yeah.
and we get a lot of blue jays and cardinals.
Yes.
Hmm.
So,
Very common backyard birds.
yeah, yeah, no, I mean, it's nothing really unusual except we had this one robin. I was home alone, and he just kept landing on a chair and just outside sliding doors, and he kept like bumping into the glass.
Huh.
I mean, he was admiring my wife's bottle collection. I don't know, colorful bottles, but it was just so weird, and like he would keep bumping into the glass. And I went over to look at him, and he flew away. And then I see him on the front window
Huh.
staring in. And
Interesting.
Hmm.
very weird. I couldn't tell. There is a glass bird on the with all the bottles, but it was kind of weird. It doesn't look like a real bird to me, and I'm sure he could tell the difference better than I can.
Huh.
But so I totally get all of this. This is cool. And Allison, my wife, just went on a trip to Turks and Caicos with her family, with her
Fun.
cousin, which was very nice. They went on a clear bottom kayak,
Cool.
and you can see the turtles underneath
That's
and all
awesome.
the stuff. So
That's
Yeah, we've done like snorkeling and I mean a whole bunch of different things over the years.
yeah.
yeah, we on our honeymoon, it was a big deal for me. Is I taught mask fins and snorkel because I taught swimming for over a decade, and life saving. So I had to go snorkeling in clear water. The we actually Allison practically jumped home from the islands because she saw an octopus.
Oh,
Oh,
Um,
that would
but
freak me out.
just like most octopi are tiny. And it was just like and it was so I just stick my face in and I'm watching it.
It's very cool.
that
It
is
was
cool.
so I totally get that. And I mean, what have been some of your interests as time's gone on? Well, now you share them, which is fantastic and really fun things that they'll never get tired.
Yeah, I feel like we've done a good
But
job.
anyway, we have kayaks, by the way, and people kayak on our lake all the time. So
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say quickly that I feel bad I mean, even after the wedding, I feel like if we can find a way to a car or something, we'd love to come for Shabbat at some
Totally.
point. So we'll,
yeah, no, get away from the city. I mean, you don't have to get the neat things in the city too.
yeah.
Um,
But no, even for
although,
an evening, it'd be a nice thing to do.
It would be.
yeah, come out and just
But
hang
yeah, I
out.
think it'd be, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's just like here, it's our real estate agent said, it's like living at a summer camp.
How
We have
luxury.
the lake. Unfortunately, we're literally what's nice is we're not really on the beach because there is a gate that separates us from the playground and the beach. So it's great we don't have to pay the taxes for living on the beach. But we're on the beach. Unfortunately, they sealed the gate,
Ooh,
which is really only a pain in the neck for us and for our neighbors. And they don't want people who aren't part of the housing association
it's
to
like an HOA or
go on to
something.
the beach as if anyone over the age of 7 couldn't just hop the fence,
Yeah.
which they do. Even our neighbors, they've got young kids. So what do they walk around? No, they hop over the fence. What's the
Yeah.
big deal? It's just a pain in the neck. We have to push our kayaks over.
Oh, yeah.
But
hmm,
so, and tell me again where each of you grew up. You told me, and I'm just suddenly blanking.
go first. I grew up the north suburbs outside Chicago.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so from the Midwest. It's called Highland Park.
Yep.
I grew up outside of New York City in Rockland County.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think you told me that because I remember we have a number of our congregants from Rockland County.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Slightly Jewish area.
Yes.
Um, and as well, the north suburbs of Chicago,
Yeah,
Highland
definitely.
Park.
Yeah, definitely a sizable Jewish population.
Yeah, it was odd because even when I growing up in Pennsylvania, I was shocked to discover there was a Highland Park, New Jersey. I always thought of Highland Park in Chicago.
Yeah, there's one in Texas too. I learned. I feel like there's,
Hmm.
I guess it's somewhat common town name. I don't know.
But because I told you my brother-in-law and sister-in-law live in Chicago, so we love
I think you mentioned
visiting.
that Oak Park or Hyde
Yeah,
Park.
Oak Park, yeah. So
Yeah,
really wish can spend more time there.
yeah, it's nice.
Sorry, my alarm just went off.
Uh,
The alarm for my sugars. I had too many corn chips.
no, sorry.
I don't I don't know why, because I took my insulin, but
Mm,
as even my doctor will say, it'll go down. So I don't get too anxious.
that's good. Don't need another stressor.
Have you thought about, because one of the things that now that you will be adults, I mean, you've been adults for a long time, but now that you're creating your family, um, and I'll let your parents work on, because I'm sure they'll want grandchildren, if they don't already have them, and they'll give you the pressure. I won't do that. Although I will say, having gotten married late in life, it is nice to have children when you're young
Hmm,
and when you have a little bit more energy, but also, as you watch them grow and, then be around for the grandchildren,
exactly. Yeah, my
there's
two
something
of
nice about that.
just had kids, so I feel like the pressure is off. But we would
Yeah,
definitely
okay.
want a family of our own one day. Well, I can't speak for the pressure from your side, but yeah, I think that's it's something we want. Something we want for sure.
Yeah. No, but as you think about it, one of the things that you guys are going to have to decide is what kind of Jewish life are you going to create? And like I always tell parents that, to prepare for bar bat mitzvah, to prepare your child for bar bat mitzvah, you have to think about it before you have kids. I
Hmm,
mean, what is going to be your Jewish home? Obviously, we immediately think of the homes we came from, 'cause that's our background. But you have to create something for the two of you.
We have
What are
talked
the things?
we've talked a little bit about it. Actually, I think we've talked a lot about it.
Yeah, we've gone through a lot about this because it's important for me to raise Jewish children who are proud to be Jewish. And like I only can pull examples of growing up myself, and we grew up differently, but I think we've come to a lot of agreements and like commonplace about what it's hard to know without even having kids, but like
I think we've had
Right.
at least that we've had the conversations, and then we'll see like what kind of kids we have.
yeah,
Play the cards you're
Well,
dealt.
oh yeah, the kids will definitely lead you. I mean, my mother grew up in an Orthodox home, my father in kind of an average conservative home. And in many ways they were very traditional. So I grew up with that, but I didn't grow up in a kosher home. I didn't grow up in a home that was Shomer Shabbos. But then I went off to Jewish educational camp and I came home and told my parents, well, I want to keep kosher. And it kept going from there. Um, and my parents, it's funny, when I moved off to college, that's when I didn't make them get two sets of dishes because I figured that was a big imposition on them. But then my grandmother moved into a home, so we inherited her dishes, and suddenly we had a kosher home with two sets of dishes. So my parents very much did a great deal for me. And people will do things for their kids. I mean, our kids are very much within the conservative mold. Um, but we have, congregants whose kids have become part of Chabad or my cousin, her youngest, her oldest is kind of like out there, very sweet guy, but a little crazy. Um, so, but her youngest became Orthodox.
Wow.
He made Aliyah. He and his family live in Israel. He's not crazy. I mean, he's not wearing payas. He still wears a kippah that's like,
Mm.
small. I mean, it's tiny. But you know, so she does a lot in her home so that when he and his family come or when she's with them, so your kids uh will lead you. Although one of the things is, it's well, we'll let them choose. Well, one, you're not going to let them choose, they're going to choose. We can have all kinds of plans as parents, but our kids are going to choose. They do that. It's amazing how they grow up and make their own decisions. Um, um, but it's also what is the background that you give them for making those decisions? What is their foundation? How do they make their choices about Judaism, whether they decide to be conservative, reform, Orthodox, New Age, Reconstructionist, nothing, whatever? What's the background? And the more Judaism that you have in your home, that will give them so much more to help them think about their own lives. Um, it's not it's not always about observance. So, I'm a traditional rabbi, so I'm always going to emphasize observance. But, for me, like I said, I didn't necessarily grow up in a traditional household, and my mother always lit candles on Friday whenever it was time to light candles. So, like it'd be 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 9:30 at night. Um, we always did kiddush. I mean, I drove on Shabbat till I was in college. And, before I would go off to a prom, I did kiddush and then went off to my prom. But, I grew up with such a comfort level of doing Jewish things and being Jewish. And I learned so much at home. So that, I got the Hebrew school. I didn't really have to learn Kiddush because we did it every Friday night. I knew what happened. All right, I went to Jewish educational summer camp and learned and sucked it up. Obviously I was interested in this stuff and that was, but so much of it came naturally because my parents were comfortable with who they were Jewishly, and they did Jewish. They went to shul. They made sure I was in Hebrew school. I mean, I didn't even go to day school.
Mm.
But I mean, Judaism was always so central in our home. And that's, the things that, what do you give your children? And it's the same, by the way, in terms of values. You want your children to have the same sets of values that you guys have, because it sounds like you have very strong values. That's what makes you attractive to each other.
Yeah, I would say so.
What are the mechanisms that are going to support that and emphasize that? And the reality is that happens through one's religious tradition for all the negative stuff we have about religion in our world. And there are reasons for that. There are a lot of people may be religious, whatever the heck that means. They can be fanatic and they can be crazy. But I think that some of our issues, our lack of values in society are due to the fact that people don't have their normal connections to religion, which is where you talk about values. and where you discuss what is the right thing to do. So, and in Jews, our religion is much more practice based. We certainly have theology, we certainly have ideas about God and the soul, and but it's really we think about how we do Judaism. How do you make Shabbos? How do you make Passover? What do you do for your Seder? How do you light candles on Hanukkah? It's really about action, but that's, it's not just all these ritual things, but how we behave toward other people. Hopefully your kids will pick up on who the two of you are
Mm.
and see that these are inherent. These values are inherent in their parents,
Yeah,
but you want to make sure they're in environments that will support that and encourage that and reinforce that. And I mean, I don't think secular society is evil, and I mean, most conservative reform Orthodox Jews have decided to live in this world. We interact with the non-Jewish world. I mean, yes, there are those who seal themselves off in certain communities, but most of us are part and parcel of the world.
definitely.
But how do we make sure our kids recognize and what reinforces that? And I have to say that there's a lot of stuff in society that does not reinforce it. That's why I think a lot of people are really struggling today because we're unhappy with what we hear from our politicians, what we, even in our media, like, are there no bounds? Or, it's just there's
Yeah, we try to tune a lot of that out. Honestly, we
yep,
don't even watch the news or really. We just try to be present with our own
yeah. So
lives.
but I think it's very important as you think about this and you think about what you're doing for yourselves, that at some point, God willing, there may be somebody else in the family or
Yeah,
a few somebody else's.
exactly.
And what is the overall package that you want to present to them and grow up? I mean, even when I hear intermarried couples say, well, we're going to let our children choose. Well, how are they going to choose if they have no experience, if they have no involvement, if they don't understand these things? It's all fine and nice to light a Chanukiah on Chanukah, or for non-Jews to Christians to put up a Christmas tree. And they're very beautiful things, but they're just symbols. They don't really convey the values that are behind them. And, holidays can't just be a time to hang up nice decorations. But what does it mean? Now, my younger daughter is very artistic, and she loves Christmas because she just likes all the decorations. She loves decorating. But so she's a photographer now. I mean, she's working with the photographer, so
Oh,
she
nice.
can do all kinds of, stuff for holidays, cake smashes, which stuff. So she loves decorating. That's her thing. And so she can but seriously, how do we convey stuff to our kids? How do we inculcate our values into them? It's not just talking to them, but how do they live it? And I mean, I think the more that people live Judaism, the more those values stick. And also the more I think our kids can make intelligent decisions. Um, we think of people that get caught up. There's nothing so wrong with being part of Chabad. I don't want to put down Chabad. They do incredible things. But I see a lot of kids who are just like, they just don't know. And then suddenly they are caught up in a very observant, rigid community, and they have a sense of community, so that's good. But if they already have a sense of community, they already have a sense of their own Judaism, they'll make much more sensible. Again, they'll still go in their own direction, but I think they'll be
Yeah.
better grounded, far better grounded.
Yeah.
So I mean, sometimes you can distinguish, even when I went off to college. in the late 70s, early 80s. That was a time, I mean, there'd already been a shift to the right, and we started developing a whole phenomenon of born again Jews, for lack of a
Mm.
better term. In Hebrew, we call it chozrei b'teshuvah. Those are returning in teshuvah. And, you know, there was always a distinction between the people who grew up as Orthodox Jews and those who took it on later. And the people who grew up with it, they could accept leniencies, they were more comfortable. And the ones who just took it all in later just were like kind of like reformed smokers. Can't be, these, I mean, I had two friends at college that went from being Rob and Gary. So then they're going to go by the Hebrew names, Yisrael and Gershon. And they even started growing peyote until even the people in the Orthodox congregation community were saying, like, what are you guys doing? I mean, you can be observant and they didn't have a foundation. They didn't, I mean, they're wonderful people. They're good people. They weren't, but, we had a few people that were just a little fanatic. And in fact, the Orthodox advisor was joking with one of them once. Um, he was dating a woman who was conservative, and they were talking about kashrut, and she would wait 3 hours after eating meat before eating a dairy meal. And the more common is in Orthodoxy is 6 hours.
Oh wow.
Um, Pardon me? Yeah. So
Yeah, I grew up with three, but yeah, I didn't realize it was
yeah,
fixed.
some people, I have many, many friends who wait 6 hours.
Wow.
But they were talking to the Orthodox advisor. I said, so, Moshe, how long do you wait? He said, yeah, I wait 6 hours, 5 hours and 45 minutes if it's ice cream. I mean, he could joke about it. He's an Orthodox rabbi. He was certainly observant, but he was like, you do what you do, and you
Yeah,
don't have to obsess over everything. And unfortunately, so anyway, that's a long-winded, because I'm a rabbi, that's a long-winded way of saying that, the more you think about and explore together and create a foundation and a background for when you have kids,
totally. Yeah, we've had
that
a lot of
just
discussions, and I think we'll go into it being intentional.
yeah,
And
no, I mean, I think you are, but and the fact that making sure you're being married by a rabbi these days, people aren't married by clergy. I look in, everyone's, married by a cousin or a parent, who became a universal life minister for the occasion, and it's like,
yeah,
wait,
no, I was important to me and my parents too, and it's I like to follow that, so it was important.
so and by the way, you can always ask me questions, even after you're married. It doesn't mean that
Thank you.
I won't talk to you like, okay, I did. I'm not staying for the reception. I'm out of here. No,
Oh,
no, 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 no. You're always free to call me, and hopefully
thank
we
you
will stay in touch. And
for that.
That's so generous. Thank you.
yeah, because the weddings are the good parts of my job.
Do you have any questions or?
I bet I'll think of one, but not right now.
That's all right. Whatever you can also just drop me a text or an email too. But
Yeah.
feel free. We can again meet one more time if you'd like. You'll let me know.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I mean, the truth
it's
is, I feel like I'm so laser focused on just the wedding and everything that I haven't really thought about like questions on Judaism beyond all that. But I'm sure.
you'll have time to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm the rabbi. It's my job to remind you about things like that. It's like your parents' job to remind you that you should have children and they want grandchildren. But I mean, it's also my job. But really, it's the first thing to think about it. Think about where you want to go. If you ever want, some recommendations and books, because whatever we learned in Hebrew school, it wasn't enough. And
Yeah.
you're older, you have more experience, you can understand things in a radically different way than you did at your bar bat mitzvah.
Totally.
Now is the time to really kind of explore it. And it's also a time when there are resources, whether it's online or their books or even TED Talks. You know, they're fabulous websites. And you know that you can just learn
Totally.
and just, explore things that like, oh, I never knew that. So why? I mean, now that you're married, well, one of the things that a husband owes his wife, that's written right there in the ketubah, is sexual satisfaction. What does Judaism believe about sex? It has a lot to say. Not everything is as open as everybody likes it to be, but it is. That is seen as part and parcel of the marital relationship, an important part. Hence, the story of creation.
Mm.
Um, when God creates Eve and Adam says, Zotapam etzem me'atzamai, bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh, says, Alken yazov ish et aviv imo. Therefore, a man leaves his husband and wife, vayidbak beishto, and cleaves to his wife.
Mm.
That's a deliberate term. It's not, I mean, it's not trying to sanitize anything or say, it's a boom, this is what it says. And even at the end of the Torah, when they talk about Moshe, and it says he's 120 years old, and his eyes had not dimmed, nor his natural strength abated. Now, what does that mean? If you've ever read James Michener, The Source, which was a great book about Israel, the novel. Um, and two of the characters in the novel, they go back and forth between contemporary times and ancient Israel or medieval, what was going on. And you have this Catholic archaeologist, Cullinane, and then you have the Israeli archaeologist, and he points out this line at the end of the Torah, and he says, 120 years old and he can still function in bed. Ours is a gutsy religion, Cullinane. And it's true. We don't hide things, and we recognize that as part of life. And so exploring, what do we say? I mean, there's a lot there that, you really can't talk about with kids. I mean, you can, but
Yeah,
at a
after a
certain
certain age.
age, that
Yeah,
there's certain things you just can't really discuss in the same way that you can with adults. So,
totally. Yeah, this
so
is really great.
yeah. So
Thank you.
good luck with everything in these last few weeks.
Thank you.
And Emily in particular, good luck with the
Thanks.
health stuff.
Yeah,
Thank you.
God willing, you'll be able to eat at your own wedding
I
and
know.
enjoy all of the stuff that you have chosen.
yeah,
We will see.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
I'm nervous.
We got like 10 days or so we're trying to
yeah.
work
It's
it.
Thank
but
you.
it's
But we'll get
still
there.
it's scary
It is very scary.
when your body betrays you. It's like you're walking on eggshells.
Yes, it is very tenuous. It's scary.
But we'll get through it.
Yeah,
You will, and now you have each other.
Exactly.
I mean, you've been together for a while, but you have
Yeah.
each other, and God willing, for the rest of your lives, you will have each other.
Yes.
Um,
exactly.
though Emily, you will have to put up with probably Seth making jokes about your hives, about
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I've tried to be
oh,
consistent about this because I know it's more stressful.
It's very stressful.
yeah,
But
no comments about how the wedding will be a bumpy ride. Okay, so
yeah,
just
exactly. Yeah.
yes, I'm bad at this too. So
Nice.
Yeah.
really good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was really great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
good to meet
my
again.
pleasure. Yeah, it's so great to see
Chat
you
through
guys.
these.
I look forward to seeing you in
Yeah,
person.
we'll meet you for I assume we'll meet you for the first time on the day of, but
Yeah,
it'll
but
be
I'll see if I'm going to get to New York at any time. I will
okay.
let you know.
Cool.
Perfect.
Yeah, I thought it just that the time I got there was just totally rushed.
Yeah, no, we get that.
Yeah.
Quick trips and all that.
Yes. Don't worry.
All right. Hang
Um,
in there.
Thank
thank
All the
you.
you.
best.
Have
Thanks
a good
again.
night. Thank you
Certainly.
again.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.